What's good? It's Jordan. Today I'll be talking to you about facing reality is tough. What we have to understand is many of us may not like the reality that we're in, but we can work through it, we can grow through it, and we can understand the perspective that we need to change in this life. See, when we look at the world around us, we may see other people who are quote unquote successful. We may see other people who are quote unquote happy in their own lives. They may have a family, they may have a marriage that is working, they may have a business or a career path that is going in their favor. And we tend to look at these people as success models, role models, so to speak, due to the fact of their success. We have to understand that even when those people are successful, quote unquote, in the world, that they still have their own problems that they are dealing with. Many times we look towards monetary gains as the game changer. Many of us may say that if we had enough money, if we had enough resources, we would be happy. Everything would be fine. The world would be simple for us. Even when we have these things, we may deal with things spiritually, mentally, and physically. There are people out there who have monetary resources, but still deal with health issues, who still deal with mental issues, who still deal with physical issues. And we have to understand this. Even there are people who have these things, and even when they have these things, they know that they're dealing with other things. So let's not look at it from a perspective of life is just almighty and life is just great, just having monetary resources, because life is just more than that. Of course, the aspect of having monetary resources is important because there's bills to pay, but the aspect of looking at it from just a perspective of, oh, my bills are paid, I have food on the table, I'm able to buy a property, I'm able to have ownership of a business because of these monetary resources. We have to look at life further than that. We have to look at life as precious and gentle. Many times we may spend our life trying to gain these monetary resources in order for us to feel happy. We don't focus on anything else besides that. We just focus on the money. Get the money. But in reality, when we do have the money, but nothing else in our life is working for us, nothing else in our life is working towards us growing, we have ourselves to blame. Don't get caught up in the aspect of just monetary resources. We have to focus on all components in this life. All components are important. When we focus on just one component, we miss out on the rest of the components that can change our life, change our course, and change our direction. We have to understand that even in this life, our day-to-day personal social interactions, whether it be in private, whether it be in our career path, whether it be just going outside in the public, we have to understand where these interactions may stem from. You know, you may be at your career path and the people that are at your career path may not like you. They may have a problem with you. They may feel that you are trying to change their game plan for their own success, for their own gains. You know, your personal relationships with your friends, your family members, your associates. You may not like them, they may not like you. You may grow apart from these people, even not understanding that everyone is not meant to be your friend, everyone is not meant to like you. We may have a problem understanding these things. We may feel that everyone is supposed to like us, everyone is supposed to agree with us, everyone is supposed to help us, everyone is supposed to be around us. But in reality, life is not like that. Just facing those things and understanding it and just not harboring resentment because you're dealing with these things. You know, Someone may do something to you that you may not have liked in your social life, in your social group, in your social circles. And you know that you don't like this thing, but you're constantly around this person. You're constantly around these people. You have to identify if you want to be around this person or if you want to be around these people. If you want to continue life feeling this way, you have a reality that you have to look into. The reality is, do you want to continue living this life like that? Yes or no? Asking ourselves these questions on a day-to-day basis. Many times we try to suppress these things and continue moving on with these people that are not meant to be around or even supposed to be around. We have to embrace the reality that everyone is not going to like us. When you embrace that reality, you learn and understand it. Many times, people in this life may do things in a way to try and harp on your ego, your insecurities, and try to destroy you. Someone may not like you, but they want you to like them. They may treat you terribly, but they want you to treat them good. And they can't understand when you return the same energy. They can't understand when you don't want to be around them, when you don't want to be friendly with them, when you don't want to show them love. They may look at it from a perspective of, why is this person treating me terribly, even though that person does not even like you? This is the reality in the life that we have to deal with. How can we deal with these things? How can we move on, move ahead, and move forward from these things? Understanding the role that you play in this life, the role that you play with yourself, and the role that you play with other people. Many times we put people before the Most High. We put people before God. When we put people before God, we occupy our mental space with people and not God. If we understand that we have to put God first, and God is the biggest role in our life, then we don't get caught up on who doesn't like us, who doesn't want to be around us, who is trying to hurt us, who is trying to do things to us. In this life, it's more important that we focus on God than focusing on man, because man will disappoint. People will like you today and then have a problem with you tomorrow. It is what it is. You move on and move forward. You cannot stop people from having their own personal opinion about you, their own perspective about you. Sometimes people have their own perspective and opinion about you, and they want you to feel hurt by that perspective or that opinion. Move on. You can't change their perspective or opinion. If you learn that, if you live with that, then it doesn't hurt. You have to embrace these things. When you embrace these things, you move on. We're not always going to get our way. We're always going to get people who like us. We're not always going to be around people who like us. So it's best that we face reality. Even facing reality with the things that we need to work on. Are we not going to work on these things and brush them to a side constantly, days, weeks, months, years? Or are we going to change the trajectory of our lives and work on those things today? These are things that we have to ask ourselves. If we don't ask ourselves these things, if we don't work on ourselves, then we're going to be the same as we were last year. And this is a snowball effect that constantly hurts us. We don't change. We don't look for change. We constantly do the same things. And that repeated cycle does not help us. It harms us. Look at your life last year. Look at your life last 5 years. Look at your life last 10 years. Was there a change, or was it the same thing? We have to make the change, because we can't constantly live in this mindset of just being the victim and not looking at how we can change our lives, how we can make a difference, how we can face reality. The best thing to do is face reality early, because if you don't face reality early and you live in a false mindset, then you constantly hurt yourself and harbor yourself until you're forced to face reality. It's better you face it early and understand it than later, because later you may be at an older age, you may be dealing with things mentally that you've been dealing with for years, and that takes a toll on you. And all these things, mentally, physically, and spiritually, that are struggles, will weigh you down, especially in this time frame. So it's best that we understand early that we have to face reality, and we move on with facing that reality. So today, I'll be reading these scriptures to you, and I hope that these scriptures can help you in your own personal life. Proverbs 14:8-9. The wisdom of the prudent is to give thought to their ways, but the folly of fools is deception. Fools mock at making amends for sin, but goodwill is found among the upright. Today, we have the ability to face reality. As harsh as it may sound, it's better that we face reality early so we can grow. We have the ability to grow. We have the ability to make the change, and the change starts with us. I want to thank you for watching today. Peace.